They say you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And whether we like it or not, it's the truth. So I went down the psychology rabbit hole on this whole thing, and psychologists found that people decide what they think about you in like less than 7 seconds. And some other research even says it's under 1 second. And once that judgment is made, everything you do after that is filtered through that initial lens. The thing is though, especially at this age, a lot of us don't really care what people think of us, right? That's not our concern. But I would argue that you do care what certain people think. Not everyone, but certain people. For example, your wife, your boss, or at least the person that you're trying to get a job from, and also the people that you're trying to do business with. And what this means is the signals that you send, the way you carry yourself, the way you shake someone's hand, and even the way that you smell, have an effect on how other people see you and what they think about you. And like I mentioned, man, I kind of went down the rabbit hole on this whole thing. So let me break down the psychology of first impressions and talk about some things you can use at parties, networking events, dates, or really any time you walk into a room full of people that you don't know. But really quick, let me start with the why. Like, why are first impressions so powerful? And apparently it comes down to a psychological concept called thin slicing. So this is our brain's ability to make very quick judgments about people with very little information. And it's actually a survival mechanism, because back in the day, our ancestors had to quickly decide, like, is this person a friend or a threat? Can I trust them or should I run? And when you're somewhere over the age of 40, in middle age somewhere, this gets to be even more important. Why? Because people expect a certain level of competence and confidence from you, right? So if you come across as insecure or sloppy, it sends the opposite message of what you've worked so hard to build in your life. So let me talk about your body language and your posture. Now, I've talked about this in a few other videos and even given you some examples of some personal body language experiences that I've had. But the psychological truth is people are already reading you. I guess it was probably last year at some point. I came on here and I told you the story of the woman that was sitting next to me at this bar I was at. Before we even spoke, her feet, her knees, her torso, all of it was sort of facing my direction. And it was obviously very open body language that told me she was open to having conversation. And like I mentioned in that video, she was. Your posture, your stance, and even the way you hold your drink at a party, all of that communicates something. Standing tall with your shoulders back communicates strength and self-respect. Slouching communicates insecurity and low energy. There was a big study on what's called power posing, right? Now, this is where people who stood in open, upright stances for just 2 minutes not only looked more confident to other people, but they actually felt more confident themselves. They even measured chemical effects and saw that testosterone levels went up and the stress hormone cortisol went down. So what this means is it's not only about looking confident, it's about feeling it too. So the next time you walk into a room, of course, stand tall, shoulders back, but don't peacock. Scan the room and just walk with slow intention. I have even seen this myself. I'm out somewhere and some dude walks in the room with a good-looking, solid outfit, and maybe he's got on like a nice long-sleeve polo like this. He's got a slight smile. He's standing up tall. He's looking around the room just to kind of casually see who's in there, and he isn't rushing anything. He's kind of slowly moving through space. And you kind of have to ask yourself, like, who is that guy? And like I said, man, if you're dressed well, I mean, forget about it. Game over, you win. I have talked about the power of style a lot before, and in my opinion, dark solids and muted solid colors always look good. For example, the polo I'm wearing right now, this is from Collars & Co., and it's literally the perfect long sleeve polo. I've also got some quarter zip sweaters from Collars & Co., and they're always my go-to option when the weather starts to cool off. And as you probably already know, Collars & Co. shook up the entire menswear industry just a few years ago when they were on Shark Tank launching their dress collar polo shirt, because the thing is that men want to look cool and put together and have a nice looking collar, but they don't want to be uncomfortable. The shirts they have are easy to wear and always look amazing. And since then, they just keep continuously adding to their selection with classic, elevated, and easy to wear pieces. And like I said, in my opinion, man, they hit it out of the park with these polos and quarter zips because they just check all the boxes: quality, comfort, fit, and style. These merino wool long sleeve polos are absolutely the way to go right now because the weather is starting to get a little bit colder, but they've also got some short sleeve polos. And I just wore one last Saturday to this event that I had in Beverly Hills. Here's a picture. So look, if you want to update your wardrobe with a few new items, there's going to be a link down below in the description to a special offer that's going to get you a discount on anything that you want to go pick up. Quarter zips, long sleeve polos, go hit that link in the description and go treat yourself to something that you will actually wear and love wearing this season. Okay, this next first impression tip is a little bit tricky, and it's eye contact. It's tricky because it's kind of a balancing act, right? Too little eye contact, and you come across as insecure, distracted, or even shifty, but too much, and then you risk sort of coming across as kind of aggressive or trying to be intimidating. The sweet spot is around 60 to 70% of the time that you're in a face-to-face conversation, because that's enough to show confidence and engagement, but not so much that you make the other person sort of uncomfortable. Once again though, psychologically, humans are wired to search the eyes for clues of trust. I mean, that's why poker players wear sunglasses. They don't want to give anything away. Now here's one that kind of gets overlooked, and it's your fragrance. The sense of smell is tied to memory and emotion because of the way that it connects directly to the limbic system in your brain. So that's why a single whiff of cologne can remind you of your grandfather or maybe a specific moment back in time. If you're the guy who consistently smells nice but not overpowering, you are going to be more memorable. Now, people might not remember exactly what you said, but they will remember that you left them with a positive feeling. The psychology here is powerful because fragrance bypasses rational thinking and hits directly on emotional memory. Another psychological principle is called mirroring. People naturally like other people who reflect their tone, their pace, and their body language. Basically, people like people who are like them. If you're overly intense, you'll push people away. If you're too passive, people just won't take you seriously and you'll just get overlooked. But if you can subtly mirror the energy of the other person that you're talking to, you can create instant rapport. All right, so do this. The next time you meet someone, don't lead with your life story or what you're all about or what you have. Lead with curiosity. Ask them questions and let them shine, because the more engaged they feel, the better impression you leave. And of course, we have style and grooming, right? Because these are the signals that people just can't help but notice. And the reality is, clothing is one of the most immediate indicators people use to judge your competence, your professionalism, and even your social status. I mean, think about it. If you see a guy in a really good looking outfit, nice jacket, clean shoes, and good grooming, your brain automatically assigns traits to that guy like he's organized, he's successful, and confident. But if you see another guy that looks a bit disheveled and sloppy, your brain says he's sloppy, he's disorganized, and that he probably doesn't care about himself. Psychologically, it's called the halo effect. So this is when one positive trait, like looking sharp, causes people to assume other positive traits about you. And like I said before, focus on fit above everything else, because clothes that sort of skim your body without being super tight look best. Stick to simple color palettes like navy, gray, black, olive, and earth tones. Now, really quick, let me talk about something else. It's the handshake. So I know we live in a time right now when handshakes aren't always guaranteed, but in professional and social settings, it's still very, very common. The psychology here is kind of interesting. Touch releases oxytocin, which is sometimes called the trust hormone. A solid handshake combined with eye contact actually builds connection in those first few seconds. Here's the thing though, a limp, weak handshake communicates weakness and a lack of confidence. But a bone crusher, that communicates insecurity and like you're just trying way too hard to dominate. Take it easy, relax, and find a nice middle ground. And if you enjoyed this one, please remember to hit the like button for the algorithm because I'm here twice a week with brand new videos. Please subscribe if you're not already, and thank you so much for watching. Live well, and I'll see you in the next one.